Hello and welcome to another live episode of the Alex Nitzberg Show. I'm Alex Nitzberg, and today I'm going to cover a number of topics, but I'm going to spend the first chunk of time discussing this woman who was arrested again. She was arrested before. She's arrested again in the UK after praying outside of an abortion facility. It's really appalling, and I'm going to show you the video of what happened to her and also what she said about it during an interview. But after that, I'm also going to be discussing something that I made a video about earlier this week, which you may or may not have seen already, but some leftists, Justin Trudeau, and also Katie Hobbs, were saying on International Women's Day that trans women are women. So it's pretty ridiculous. And I'm also going to cover something else. Ken Cuccinelli has come out in support of Ron DeSantis. Now that's notable because Ken Cuccinelli worked under former President Donald Trump's administration, so that's interesting. And then I'm also going to... What is the other thing I was going to cover? I got to look and see what it is. Let me switch over to my Chrome thing here. I had something else. Oh yeah, I had a couple other things here. You'll find out when I get there. But I want to start out with this. This woman named Isabel Vaughan-Spruce. She was arrested recently. Again, right? This is not the first time. Well, she's outside of this abortion clinic in the UK, abortion facility in the UK. And she's silently praying in her own head, and she gets arrested. So I'm going to start out by showing you some video clips here. Check this out.
Can I please ask you to step away from here and step outside the exclusion zone?
I'm not protesting, I'm not engaging in any of the activity.
But you've said you're engaging in prayer, which is the offence.
It's silent prayer.
No, but you are still engaging in prayer. It is an offence.
I disagree.
Okay then. So you would rather that you be arrested and taken away than stand outside the exclusion zone, is that what you're saying?
Are those the only two alternatives?
Yes.
I don't think I'm doing part of that. I'm intimidating the person and I'm not protesting.
So you see there, I mean, this is like, I put the title Real Life Dystopia. Like, this is something that seems like it would come straight out of a dystopian fiction, right? This woman is like being this when the cop says, you've said you're praying, that is the offense. Like, are you kidding me? And she's like, I'm praying silently. Like, no. So check this out. There's another clip here. Same woman, same cop here.
You are outside here when you know you shouldn't be. Okay. The public space protection order says not to be stood outside here, doesn't it?
I haven't seen that, no. It says protest.
Yeah,
I'm not
protest.
protesting.
But people know who you are and they know why you're here. Okay then.
And I know I'm not protesting.
But they will. And the people that persistently phone us, which are the residents and the people who use this place, are the ones that say that they know. And it's their perception of events, isn't it?
I'm just silently praying and that's all I'm doing.
Okay. And it's their perception of events, which is that you're protesting. Now, I get what you're saying. I completely understand where you're coming from. But it's people's perception, isn't it?
I think there has to be some measurable level of intimidation or harassment, and that's not something that I'm doing.
Okay,
I
then.
don't have any intention of it.
Okay then. So what we'll start with is we're going to issue you with a ticket now, and if you don't leave the area, you'll then be arrested. Do you understand that? Okay. I won't ask if you're happy with that, but you're happy that you understand the process.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay.
So the woman is Isabel Vaughan-Spruce. Now that was recent, but a few months ago, here's another clip where she was also arrested, and you'll see here in this clip that the police officer basically is like, "What are you doing here?" And at some point he's like, "Are you praying?" And she says, "I might have been praying." It's like it's just ridiculous. Watch this.
What are you here for today?
Physically, I'm just standing here.
Okay. Why here of all places? I know you don't live nearby.
But this is an abortion centre.
Okay, that's why you're stood here. Is you standing here part of the protest?
No, I'm not
Are
protesting.
you praying?
I might be praying in my head out loud.
So I'll ask you once more, will you voluntarily come with us now to the police station for me to ask you some questions about today and other days where there are allegations that you've broken public spaces protection order?
If I've got a choice, then no.
Okay, well then you're under arrest, okay, on suspicion of failing to comply with the public spaces protection order, which is under the Antisocial Behaviour Crime and Policing Act 2014. Now, of course, you don't have to say anything. You may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which later on in court has been reduced.
So, what's going on here? It seems to have to do with this measure here, Birmingham City Council. And if you look at this, it says the activities prohibited by the order are protesting, namely engaging in any act of approval or disapproval, or any attempted act of approval or disapproval with respect to issues related to abortion services by any means. This includes, but is not limited to, graphic, verbal, or written means, prayer, or counseling. So look at that. It actually mentions prayer in that measure, and it's basically what it's referred to as like a buffer zone. So there's this zone around this abortion facility, and then they're saying that this is prohibited within this area. So here's Isabel Vaughan-Spruce speaking about that recent arrest during an interview.
So just to make it clear, I've been doing the work I've been doing for about 20 years, which is offering help and alternative to women outside abortion centres. And many, many women have accepted that help and been very grateful for it. So at the end of last year, I was silently praying outside the abortion centre, and I was arrested there for that. Questioned as to what my thoughts were, what I was praying about. And after I was interrogated, I was released on bail, but I was charged with engaging in an act which was intimidating service users, even though there were no service users actually at that time present. But I was fully acquitted of that last month. So I would naturally assume from that, since I'd been fully acquitted, the prosecution offered no evidence whatsoever, that I was okay to go and do the same thing again, which is what I've been doing for 20 years, praying outside the abortion centre. So yesterday I did go and do that. I prayed out silently in my head outside the abortion centre. I didn't engage with anyone. I had no posters, no leaflets. I wasn't even holding my rosary beads or anything like that. I was just literally silently praying in my head. And 6 officers came with a police van and told me I was engaging in prayer, which is an offence. And they said quite clearly, when I said I don't believe there is an offence, they said it is.
How did they?
And here's another clip from that same interview.
Well, firstly, I would say that some locals that I know do share your concerns, in as much as they're saying, yes, there's crime in the neighbourhood that doesn't seem to be dealt with. And yet when there's a woman standing there silently praying, we can suddenly get 6 officers to go and arrest her. But they asked me if I was praying. And I told them, honestly, that yes, I was silently praying in my head. I didn't feel I needed to hide that. But maybe in view of their response, maybe I should have.
So that's really appalling that this is going on in the UK. And it's a story that people should know about. I mean, this is ridiculous. And also, it seems like the UK is also doing some stuff at the national level along these lines. So really dystopian. I mean, it's like a straight out of a dystopian piece of fiction, but it's not. It's real. So you guys should definitely know about that. Next topic I'm going to be covering is, like I mentioned, Cuccinelli, Ken Cuccinelli. He says right here, during the Trump administration, during part of the Trump administration, he served as acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security and as acting Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. He is launching a super PAC to get Ron DeSantis to run. So he's got videos and stuff posted online. In fact, I'll show you one. But he's actually pushing to enlist Ron DeSantis to run for president. And then he's saying basically, like, in addition to getting him to run, he's also, hoping to build up this base of support for Ron DeSantis so that if he does run, he'll already have this, this base of support. If you go to the Never Back Down PAC website, they encourage you to sign a petition, but it looks like you're basically just giving them your name and email address and phone number or whatever, that kind of contact info. And in fact, here, I'll show you. Neverbackdown.org. You go there, Never Back Down, and look, they want you to, it says first name, whoops. Get rid of that. First name, last name, zip code, phone, email. So here's a video where he actually addresses the fact. He's like, yeah, I worked for Trump. I was proud to work for Trump, but he says that he thinks DeSantis is the best person for the job.
I worked for President Trump in his administration. I was proud to do that. He had plenty of good accomplishments. But when we look ahead to 2024 and ask ourselves, who's the best leader in America today? That's Governor DeSantis. And if he runs for president and wins, we get 8 years of a great president, not just 4. Go to our website, neverbackdown.org, and sign our petition to call on Governor DeSantis to get in the race for president today.
So I expect that likely DeSantis will announce that he's running for president in a few months, probably at some point after the Florida legislative session is over. And so that will probably be happening, and it'll be interesting to see. In fact, the battle between Trump and DeSantis for Trump has already started, because if you watch Trump's Truth Social account, you'll see that he is already pretty much regularly posting attacks against DeSantis. So I guess it'll get worse maybe once DeSantis actually gets in, but he's already attacking him pretty regularly. So, all right, here's something else. I covered this on a separate video earlier this week. This is Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. But on Wednesday, it was considered International Women's Day. And so I wrote an article and I made a video, and I'm basically saying, well, here it is. Leftists are putting out this message on International Women's Day that's exactly what you would expect from them. And what is it? Well, they're celebrating biological men. Here in this statement from Justin Trudeau, he says, "We reiterate today that trans women are women." And it's like, okay, and look here, Governor Katie Hobbs. This is a tweet from the office of Governor Katie Hobbs in Arizona. And it says, "I want to make it clear that trans women are women." So that's obviously not true. And as I've said before, repeating a lie like that, which is a factually and just, it's on the face ridiculous and untrue, because a transgender woman is a biological man and therefore they are not a woman. But to say it over and over again does not make it true. But here they are on International Women's Day saying it. And then there was this, also the same day on Wednesday on International Women's Day at the White House, there was this International Women of Courage awards ceremony. And guess who one of the awards honorees was? If you said a transgender woman who's actually a biological man, you would be correct. Check this out.
In Argentina, Alba Ruada is a transgender woman who was kicked out of classrooms, barred for sitting for exams, refused job opportunities, subjected to violence, and rejected by her family. But in the face of these challenges, she worked to end violence and discrimination against the LGBTQI+ community in Argentina.
So there's that. And then there's one other thing I was going to just mention here. If you remember, do you guys remember the band, the B-52s, famous for songs such as Love Shack and Rock Lobster? Well, apparently they are super woke, because they put out this statement that says, basically, we're deeply concerned about the numerous new bills that promote transphobia and discrimination against transgender individuals and drag artists which have been introduced in the United States. We strongly denounce these bills and stand in solidarity with our LGBTQ+ community. And it goes on there. Now, there are a number of bills around the U.S. that liberals are not happy with, bills that are basically targeting adult performances, that kind of thing, maybe in a sense trying to go after the whole drag thing. Bills that are basically saying that children should not be eligible, like people are not allowed to provide or perform sex reassignment surgeries on children, or provide minors with hormones or that sort of thing, puberty blockers. Now, those are common sense measures that really everybody should support. Even if you are a very liberal person who's 100% on board with the transgenderism and all that sort of thing, everyone should be able to coalesce and agree that, you shouldn't be able to have a mastectomy when you're not 18 years old. You shouldn't be able to be taking, puberty blockers and things like that. I mean, it's just, that's not something that should be, children should not be having this sort of stuff done. But here you go, the B-52s are very unhappy with this this stuff. So there's that. And then one other thing, actually it's not really another piece of news or anything, I was just going to show you guys some funny stuff. Tax season is coming up. And when tax season rolls around, it makes me think that people, every time tax season rolls around, it seems like people should be outraged, and there should be a sort of a groundswell of people who are like, this is absurd, I don't like paying this much in taxes, we need to do something about it. Strangely, I guess a lot of Americans are okay with it because they keep voting for Democrats, but it's kind of crazy. You would think every year when you have to pay your taxes, you would be like, this is horrible, we should have lower taxes. But anyway, here's a clip of Ronald Reagan on taxes.
Johnny, we live in the only country in the world where it takes more brains to figure out your income tax than it does to earn the income. You might be right.
And I got another clip here that I like from an old movie. I don't even actually remember exactly what the movie was, the title of it or anything, but this is just a clip that I find hilarious about taxes.
At the present time, I'm trying to figure out a practical deal with the government to let them keep my income and I'll keep the tax.
So he's trying to work out a practical deal with the government so he can keep the tax and they'll keep the income. Anyway, good luck to everybody who's out there. I haven't done my taxes yet. I will probably get money back, and I like that, but I do not like the process of having to actually do the taxes. So if you want to leave a comment and let me know, what kind of tax system do you think will be better? Like maybe a flat tax system or something, because what we've got now is a total mess. And it is definitely not a pleasant experience, both paying the taxes, but even just trying to pay the taxes. It shouldn't be that much work to pay taxes. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode of the Alex Nitzberg Show. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to my channels on both YouTube and Rumble. And definitely check out Rumble in case I ever have any problems with YouTube censoring anything that I'm saying. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.